Hi, everybody. So, I got another thing in the Amazon mail. It is a book, Juggling for the Complete Klutz. That came with 3 Klutz bean bags, juggling balls, but they're more like juggling cubes. And since I don't know how to juggle, this seemed like a wise purchase. I bought other juggling balls too. Let me get those real quick. So I got these ones too. I don't really know what brand it is. So it's just also from Amazon. I'll put a link to it, I suppose. Because just getting the square one seemed like maybe I want to get some more more fun ones too. So I got these. You already saw a couple videos ago that I've already looked up some online tutorials, like YouTube tutorials, and then practice there. But I want to see what the book can offer. Because what you may have figured out from that video is that I am a complete klutz. I have not yet opened this book because I wanted to show you how it came. Relatively creative packaging, except once... So, the bag, I don't agree with the bag. It's just like one of those fruit bags, I guess. But in the back, it's tied with a knot. So, I'm gonna have to either try to undo this knot or just cut it open, in which the bag will be rendered completely useless. Let's take a look at what we get at the front of the bag a little bit closer. Welcome to my desk. Ignore the mess. Ignore the mess. But it comes with 1 book, 3 bean bags, and 3 million copies sold. Wow. 100% Klutz certified. I look for certification. Nice holographic cover. Wow. And then, yeah, we got the 3 bean bags. They do seem to be a similar size to the more, like, professional juggling balls. These are not professional juggling balls by any sense of the imagination. But yeah, they seem to be about the same size. I'm not sure if they're the same weight. It seems like they're lighter. And let's see if I can get the knot untied in the back so I don't have to cut it open. Oh, well, let's look at the book that launched an empire. In 1977, 3,000 copies of this book were printed under cover of darkness and distributed via a bicycle and a backpack system in Palo Alto, California. It was a design at first. That's cool. The founder's original plan was to sell them all, collect the proceeds, purchase an island small, and retire for life. Okay. The plan failed. Now, 30 years later, we're still creating phenomenal books, still having fun, and still looking for a small island. Over the years, we have received thousands of letters from people who tell us their lives have been enriched, enlarged, enlivened, and occasionally endangered by this book and the skill it teaches. We treasure this knowledge and have come to believe the world is a tiny bit sillier because of this little book. Aww, that's so cute. I like the price tag was, interesting. I mean, if I got this secondhand, like, I'm totally fine with that. Like, it still looks new. Okay, that was easier to untie than I thought. So, I guess this book will continue to be portable if I reuse the bag. To help carry around the beanball with. So like, get rid of that tag. Let's get a feel for the beanballs. They are lighter. And they're little cubes. It's felt texture. There's a big old tag on this one I can cut off. New material, content plastic pellets. Wipe clean with damp cloth, air dry. Okay, so these ones would be a little bit, like, these ones have this kind of plasticky, like you can see that it's shiny, and this is felt, so if you use these to practice outside, it might get dirty a little bit quicker than these. These you can probably just wipe off, and these you can also wipe off, but it's felt. More absorbent. Let me cut the tag off. But I'm not going to be practicing outside, so that's fine. Yeah, these are just a little bit heavier. Actually, not by much. Okay, let's take a look at what's inside the book, shall we? So here's the front of the book, John Cassidy and BC Rimbaugh. If they have an official website, I'll link that in the description as well. But let's just take a look at just the first few pages. I really like the illustrations. That kind of what made me buy the book, so. This book is dedicated to the closet Klutzes of the world. Oh, and he dropped his keys under the car. Okay, here's the table of contents. Yeah, it kind of gives me that Zine feel, that Zine look. So let's see, the drop, the toss, the exchange, the jug, and special problems, beyond the basics, circle juggling, overhand grabbing, outside juggling, the blind juggler, razzle dazzle, 2-in-1 pattern, juggling with various objects, edibles, the need to juggle with eggs, the section of clubs, where to get juggling clubs. Oh, cool, it has tutorials about how to juggle clubs as well. I was interested in that. I haven't bought clubs yet because I needed to do more research about a good beginner set to have. But this one will also kind of show you club passing, higher math and club pathing, random passing, tricks with clubs, to kick up juggling, various strange club-like objects, numbers juggling, 4-object juggling, 5-object juggling. Oh my gosh. Cute. Juggling, the complete Klutz was first published in Mimographed Lesson Plan in 1977 when I was a student teacher in Mountain View, California. After juggling had taken over my class, kicking out the English literature portion of the curriculum, I ran off another set of juggling instructions. As I fed the sheets through the copy machine, I realized, in a trembling hands and bated breath, that I was living the author's dream. My first book was going back to press. Wait, what? Financing the printing of 3,000 copies of it? Never mind sewing the 9,000 beanbags. So even the first initial 3K copies came with the beanbags? Cute! I'll have to read this more later. If you're looking how to juggle, but it took you 4 years to learn how to tie your shoes, and besides, dropping things has always been second nature to you. When your class picked teams, you were always picked last, and then packed off to right field. Your mother always puts away the breakables whenever you step into the house. You're the original Klutz, and you probably think juggling is only for the super coordinated. Relax! Most people have got the moves down and on their way to juggling after only 15 minutes, or even hardcore cases like you won't be far behind. It's simple. Motions are new, and for the first couple minutes they feel awkward, as brushing your teeth left-handed, but the truth is, they're easy, and anyone can do it. Let's look at step 1. Pick up 3 bags and hold them briefly. You'll note that there's one more bag, then you have hands, unless if you're a rather rare case, in which event, send away for our limited edition Juggling for the exceptionally gifted. Throw all 3 bags into the air, and making no effort to catch any of them, let them all hit the ground. This is an example of the drop. I do it all the time, and so will you, so it's good to familiar yourself with the moves easy on. Practice a drop until the novelty wears off. Many people find this occurs quite rapidly. Others seems to get a lot out of this exercise for quite some time. Leaving those folks to themselves, we'll move on. The toss. Put 2 bags away for a time and hold just one. Cradle it in the center of your hand, not on your fingers. Read the last line again. It's more important than you think. Cradle it in the center of your hand. You should be standing relaxed, even grinning perhaps, your elbows near your body and your hands at about waist height. Toss the bag in easy arcs, as high as your eyes and as wide as your body, back and forth, hand to hand. It won't take you long to discover that this exercise is only a hair more interesting than the first, but you should keep at it a little longer. The important thing is to keep your tosses consistent, one after the other, so that you don't have to go lunging around catching weird throws. Don't make your throws stiffly either. Use a natural scooping motion, as in the illustration. It's the most relaxed, natural way to toss. You're probably already doing it. Ideally, you should be able to scoop and toss it and have it land eyes closed in your other hand. Realistically, if you can make it a catch without having to dive for it, you're doing about normal. Do this until it gets boring. A minute seems to be about the limit for most people, but push yourself a little more. Juggling truth number 1. Juggling of the art of making great tosses, not great catches. Well, I don't want to read too much because I'm worried about, just revealing the whole book, but let's do a quick flip through. They have, only your tosses go up, none go across, but they do go across, like that, right? Okay, so this one, so here is where it talks about trying to keep it like that, which is very difficult. The panic response. Here's a nice illustration. Deep breath, the first toss, the first exchange, and the second exchange. I think this is about as good as trying to teach someone to juggle without having a video of it. Because juggling definitely feels like it's a very visual thing. So trying to teach someone how to do it without any kind of video seems to be a very difficult feat, but I think this book is gonna be doing it very well. Just from reading those first couple pages. And it looks like there are some extra tricks that we could do. So that's exciting. Personally, I love juggling with eggs, and as a result, I have mopped many a kitchen floor, but once you have tasted the adrenaline of seeing all that fragile young poultry flying above your hands, it's impossible to stop. Keep a careful eye out for grocery clerks. Take 3 apples and begin juggling them normally. Helps if one of them is green and the other 2 are red. When the green one gets in your right hand, make a special effort to throw it high in the air. Say 3 or 4 feet. Keep it within reason though, or you'll be visible from the next aisle. The extra time you've got, bring the left-hand apple and grab a bite out of it. If you're quick enough, you can get your hands with the bitten apple back in place in time for the high flyer to land there. You'll do an exchange and then continue juggling. That would be so fun. There's, yeah, there's a whole nother thing about juggling clubs. Cool. Well, alright. Let's practice juggling with these Klutz balls a little bit. Sorry about that light. These are the Klutz ones. My coffee. Okay, so I have been practicing juggling, but I don't think I'm practicing it with my hands in the right spot, so I kind of have to reteach myself a little bit. So maybe I'll do it with the Klutz ones, because they're a little bit lighter, so they should be easier to throw up higher while you're learning, because if you throw them higher, then it's more time for your hands to catch up. So yeah, let me read this book a little bit more so I can give you some more conclusive thoughts about it. Other than just being like, yep, that's a book. I don't know how people do reviews. How do people review things? I don't have negative opinions about anything. That's not an interesting review. Okay, well, it's a lovely short read. There's quite a few things here about partner juggling, like passing balls back and forth. Which I skipped past those because I don't know anyone who can do those tricks with me yet. Well, maybe I do, so maybe I will read those, but later. I just wanted to give a quick dealio to see if there are some highlights I can share with you. And yeah, I got some pretty good tips. And I really think that, honestly, like, nothing can beat YouTube because you have the video. There's only so much set diagrams and descriptive words. Like, if I only had this, I think I would struggle a lot more than having the combination of YouTube and this. I do still think this is helpful, so let me share some tips that I got from here. On page 19, it says to take frequent breaks while you're trying to learn. 20 minutes spent in 2 10-minute spurts is much more effective than in one lump, which I agree with. So I'll probably still be doing my live streams, twitch.tv/MagicCake62, and taking short 10-minute jiggle breaks every now and then so that I can continue practicing. And then there's a funny, so there's kind of like a troubleshooting section, which comes with a cute illustration here. To solve the problem of not having your throws under control, you're throwing them too far forward, which is a very big problem for me. So the solution to that is, first of all, practice in front of a wall so you can't throw them too far out in front of you. I do already know about this tip. There's just no walls in this room that is safe to practice against. An alternative is to try sitting down. I've never found this to be so great, but everyone says it helps, so I'll pass it on. Maybe I'll try that. As a last resort, you might try practicing on the edge of a cliff. A close friend of mine, rest his soul, used to swear by this one. Used to. Okay. Thought that was funny. So this book is fun to read too. Oh, there's also the trick of how to do circle juggling. So that's gonna be helpful. So I guess when you're first learning, you're doing the cascade kind, where you're always throwing them up, but there is a form of juggling where you pass one to the other, even though in an earlier chapter, it is discouraged to do that while learning. That's like the panic response. So we have like the cheat response here where you pass it from one hand to another before throwing it, which you shouldn't do while learning, but I guess you could incorporate it into circle juggling where you are supposed to do that. So I guess either one works. You also have that apple trick that we read earlier. That would be great to learn how to do that. Juggling with clubs, they also have a lot of like how to pass them to partners. And then there's another interesting tip, like right at the end of the book here, where it says, at this point, well, let's switch to the other camera angle. Okay, so at this point, you are probably juggling 3 objects: clubs, beanbags, chinaware, rubber chickens, with casual flair. You feel a certain sense of pride and accomplishment. Your friends, though, are bored. They want 4. See, she's got a little 4. Learning how to juggle with 4 objects is not all that tricky. I'll go over the steps here in a minute, but before you start on it, you should recognize that 4 is not what your friends really want. What they really want is 1 more than whatever you can do. This is the infamous numbers game trap. On a scale of 1 to 10, learning how to juggle with 3 objects is a 2. Learning how to juggle with 4 objects is a 5. Learning how to juggle with 5, figure 34. Before that, I can't count that high. Beyond that, Enrico Rostelli, an Italian juggler who was active 70 years ago, is considered history's finest juggler. He reportedly could juggle 11 objects. He also practiced 12 hours a day. There are a zillion tricks and variations with 3 objects and passing patterns, more than enough to occupy a lifetime. Having said all that, I know that there are those of you out there who must know how it is done. It is for their doomed sake that I set these instructions down. And a little mouse hiding underneath the dresser. So that is that was, I really like how they worded that. Like, if you have friends that are supportive of something like a new hobby or skill that you're trying to pick up, but they want you to, but they like the book said, they get bored and they want you to do something more just because you can't yet. It's like, just it's not cool. If you're a friend or someone who's learning how to juggle, it's like, oh, when are you gonna juggle 4? Oh, when are you gonna like catch the ball on the back of your neck and kick it up with your heel and do all this other fancy stuff? Just support what they can do already. If they want to learn that fancy stuff, they can, but like the book said, again, there's tons of things that you can do with just the 3 balls. And if they never get past just the juggling just the 3, it's just a normal cascade juggle, which is might be all I can do. I am gonna really try to do that apple trick eventually. Really want to do that apple trick. Oh, and then there was one more tip in there that I wanted to share about doing those fancy things, like kicking it up with your heel and all that. They didn't say specifically how to do any of that. If you're looking for a little of this kind of flash in your routine, is to always have one bag especially high before you go into whatever contortions you have in mind. So you can buy yourself a little extra time with the additional height. So I think if you watch people juggling, keeping those tips in mind, you will see that they throw a ball especially high up before they do something fancy with another one. And with the apple trick, again, you throw one especially high so that you have time to grab a bite out of the apple that falls and then throw it back up before the next one comes down. And then the last tip that I heard that I liked was, in a juggling video, I might have mentioned that when I was throwing this, I wasn't thinking about aiming for the corner that I was supposed to throw it at. I was thinking about aiming it to land in this hand. So they have an illustration in here to imagine a ring above your hand and to have the ball fall through the ring, through the imaginary ring. I'll see if I can find the illustration for that. Alright, there's that. So, just to imagine... Oh, and throwing it up through a ring. Oh. Because I guess you're always supposed to throw the ball on the inside of the one that's falling, which I have not paid attention to. I don't know if I'm doing that or not. So I will keep that in mind as I continue. Oh, my poor nails. That's okay. So, my final verdict on this book is that it's good. It's an easy, quick read. But I think it's best to use it in tandem with YouTube videos and tutorials like that, because there are really good tutorials on YouTube as well that basically cover everything that this book also covers. But you actually get to see it happening, which is, I feel like, is easier to understand than just the diagrams, even though the diagrams are drawn really well and are really easy to understand. Because they give the balls different patterns and stuff, so that in a way helps even more than the videos, because some of those YouTube videos, they only throw, like, all the balls that they throw are the same color and pattern, so it's like, can you make them different colors so that we can follow things a little bit better? But that's okay. And I wasn't expecting them to also go over club juggling, which is cool too. They even had a tip in there, like before you get clubs, that you can just slice off a section of a handle of a plunger and practice with plungers first, which I think would be fun. But yeah, it would... Yeah, so... I don't know. I don't think I'll give this any kind of rating, but I will definitely... it's a fun book to have because just anyone can kind of look at it, and the illustrations are nice. I especially like... What do I especially like? I especially like this illustration. It's a little bit more of a realistic portrayal about how passing a club back and forth to a partner will actually go at first. Yeah, because the other thing that's mildly discouraging about those YouTube videos is that the people teaching you how to juggle are already pretty much experts, so they make it look so effortless. But this book is written in a way that's a little bit more sympathetic to the people that are just learning, and people like me who has not tried to do anything that requires very good hand-eye coordination in a long time. I've not played any sports. I've not even practiced yo-yoing. Where's my yo-yo? Okay, that's gonna be another video, but yeah. So yeah, so that's my review of Juggling for the Complete Klutz. There are more books about pot holders, cat's cradle, 101 outrageously fun things, paper airplanes, knots, face painting, kids cooking, spiral draw, Star Wars folded flyers, painted rocks, friendship bracelets, and Lego chain reactions. Lego chain reactions. Like making little Goldberg machines. I might check out their series a little bit more to see what's going on with their face painting. Getting a face painting book, I think, would be a lot more useful to have in a book form, because then it's kind of like a reference you can look at anytime. With juggling, like, really video is the best way to learn, in my opinion. Like, the book is fun, but I think a video still wins, not because of the book's fault, it's just because of the nature of juggling. It's like learning how to like dribble a basketball. You can show a picture of somebody dribbling a basketball, but you're not really gonna learn unless if you actually do it yourself or watch somebody else actually doing it. It's kind of with anything. Face painting is a lot more visual. I don't have to watch somebody do a brush stroke in order to know, like, okay, the brush stroke goes there. So I will check out this series of books more. It was good. It was a good book. I recommend it if you're trying to learn juggling through the videos, but it doesn't seem to be enough and you need some extra tips. I already shared the tips that I thought were useful to me, but maybe if you get the book yourself, you can find some tips that are useful for you as well. Yeah, so that is my review of the juggling books for Klutz's. And I'll practice with those beanbags more. They are a little bit lighter, so I think they'll be easier to practice with this. But I'm also debating on if that's wise to do. Should I just stick with one set so I can get really acclimated to how it feels? Or should I start with the Klutz beanbags and then switch to this one and get used to this one again? I don't know. Any jugglers that are watching this video might have some tips for me. If you do have any tips for me, please, I'll take any tips I can get. But really, it's just practice. I just need to practice more, which I will do. So, see you later.